Hello. So, I'm going to be telling you all the things that are important to know when you start stretching your ears. The first thing is when they are freshly pierced, you just pierce them. Now, most girls have had their ears pierced when they were little, or at least I did, but I recently got them re-pierced because I never used to like wearing just earrings. But a lot of guys will get their ears pierced. But girls too, but I see a lot of guys getting their ears pierced specifically to stretch. So, the thing is, you need to wait because they have the piercer will give you information on how long you need to wait to even change the earrings out. I think it's like 4 to 6 weeks, and that's because the scar tissue will close so quickly you can't get the earring back in, especially if you're not used to putting in earrings. You don't really know how to get it through the hole correctly. So you just need to wait because stretching will put a lot of stress on your ears when you start. So the first thing is, how do you actually stretch? And the way you do that is, well, there's a couple of ways. The way that I was used to was tapers. And they look like this. And they're smaller at the start and they get bigger, they get thicker. So you push them through your ear until your ear gets to the size of this next size of the taper. And there's a couple different, some tapers look like this, look like spikes, and some look like this, like curly cues, like this. But they're tapers if they're smaller and they get bigger. And tapers are not meant to wear as regular jewelry. They're for stretching. The second thing is taping, which I have just started doing and I really like because it's cheaper than buying tapers, which can be expensive, especially the bigger sizes. And you just wrap a piece of tape around a plug, which I have that in right now. This is my plug. And there's electrical tape wrapped around it, which I actually have heard that you're not supposed to use, but I just did because I didn't have access to anything else. I hear bondage tape is the best thing to use, and you just wrap it around your plug until, a couple of times every couple of days until you get to whatever size you want to get to, and make sure that you clean your ears. Dangers of stretching. The most prominent thing is a blowout, and I'm sure you've heard of that, but you might not know what it is. A blowout is when you put a bigger size earring in your ear that your ear is not ready for, and the pressure inside your ear is too great, and the skin, the scar tissue inside of the hole that you've created in your ear grows out because the pressure is too much on the inside, and it grows out like this, and it's disgusting, and that's a blowout. The second way you can get a blowout is when you stretch with silicone tunnels. A silicone tunnel looks like this. It's obviously made out of silicone, and a tunnel is when it's hollow in the middle and it goes through. And the reason that people think that stretching with silicone tunnels is a good idea is because they're squishy and you can just squish them in and pop them through your ear, and the next size will pop through and you'll be stretched. But the thing is, when you stretch with these, first of all, it's very unpleasant and to stretch with these, and second of all, silicone will adhere to your ear and your skin will fuse with the silicone. When you pull them out, your skin will come with it. So that's another way you can get a blowout. So don't stretch using silicones. Wait until your ear is absolutely healed to put silicones in. And that is a good segue into how the types of earrings to use after you've stretched. The kind that I recommend are O-ring tunnels because they have a screw-on back like this, and you can just push it through, and it's one size, it's straight, so you can just push it through and screw on the back. And the reason why I recommend these is because, well, they're not silicone, they're straight through, and they don't have a flare or a lip. And when I say that, I'm talking about this You see how it's wider on the two sides than in the middle? These are, this is a plug with a flared lip. And when you use these, if your lip, your ear is not all the way healed, then your ear will heal to the size on the inside, which is smaller, and you won't be able to pull the plug back out because these are bigger and you can't get it back out of your ear. So don't use these until your ear is healed. You can find plugs. I have a few plugs. When I say plugs, I mean they're full, they're solid, they don't have a hole in them. You can find plugs that are straight back and they don't have a flare. Just make sure that you get a straight one size piece of jewelry when you first are healing your ear. And all the differences in all of these things are, like I said, when I say plugs, I mean plugs are solid, like this. The flared lip, I told you, is when it's wider on the sides. A tunnel has a hole through it, so you can see through it. This is silicone. The O-ring has the screw-on back, like this. And tapers look like this, and they're not supposed to be worn as jewelry. And there is some debate on how often you can stretch. You're supposed to wait every couple of months at least. It's supposed to take you like several years to get up to like a 00 or a 7/16 or 1/2 inch. I stretch way more rapidly than that, but you really have to know your ears. Some ears are much more stretchy and some are not. And you just remember to keep them clean. I clean with Neosporin. Some people say not to. It's all pretty subjective, but I've been cleaning with Neosporin for a long time and it's always worked fine for me, so I say that you can. And just be careful when you stretch. So I hope this was helpful, and you can ask any questions if you have any, but I hope that I've covered basically everything.